Some stories are harder to tell than others, and today is one of those moments. We gather with heavy hearts to remember the celebrities who once lit up our screens and lives, but have now left us forever. As we honor their lives and say goodbye, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so their stories continue to be remembered.
Bob Weir, the American singer, songwriter, and rhythm guitarist who co-founded the Grateful Dead, was a defining architect of the jam band movement and a primary guardian of the American countercultural legacy. Born Robert Hall Weir on October 16, 1947, in San Francisco, California, he spent over 60 years on the road, evolving from the kid of the Grateful Dead into a revered elder statesman of rock and roll. His career was marked by a unique jazz-influenced approach to rhythm guitar and a relentless drive to keep the music evolving through new collaborations and technological innovations. Bob Weir passed away on January 10, 2026, at the age of 78, following a private battle with cancer and subsequent lung complications. Weir's musical journey began in 1965 when, at the age of 17, he met Jerry Garcia at a music store on New Year's Eve. This meeting led to the formation of the Warlocks, which soon became the Grateful Dead. As the band's rhythm guitarist, Weir developed a singular style, often described as pianistic, that filled the harmonic space between Phil Lesh's lead bass lines and Garcia's melodic improvisations. He was the voice behind many of the band's most enduring rock and country-inflected staples, including Sugar Magnolia, The Other One, Cassidy, and Estimated Prophet. Throughout the Grateful Dead's 30-year run, Weir was the steady engine of their live performances, known for his physical endurance and his ability to steer the band through complex improvisational jams. After the death of Jerry Garcia in 1995, Weir became the primary torchbearer for the band's legacy. He founded several successful projects, including Rat Dog and Further, and in 2015, he co-founded Dead & Company alongside John Mayer and original Dead members Mickey Hart and Bill Kreutzmann. This final iteration of the Dead experience reached new heights of popularity, culminating in a record-breaking residency at the Sphere in Las Vegas in 2024 and 2025. Weir also explored sophisticated orchestral arrangements of the Dead's catalog through his Wolf Bros project, performing with world-class ensembles such as the National Symphony Orchestra and the Royal Philharmonic. In his final year, Weir continued to defy expectations. He celebrated the Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary in 2025 with 3 massive sold-out shows in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park and made his long-awaited debut at London's Royal Albert Hall. Despite being diagnosed with cancer in the summer of 2025, he remained active, performing emotional sets that many fans now view as a final gift to the community. He passed away peacefully on January 10, 2026, surrounded by his wife, Natasha, and his daughters, Monet and Chloe. The legacy of Bob Weir is one of absolute dedication to the live moment. He was a musician who viewed songs not as static recordings, but as living organisms that required constant exploration. Beyond his musical contributions, he was a staunch advocate for environmental causes and civic engagement through his work with the United Nations and Headcount. Bob Weir is remembered as a storyteller whose unique artistry reshaped the landscape of American music, ensuring that the song he started in 1965 would truly never stop.
John Edward Forte, the Grammy-nominated musician, producer, and songwriter whose work defined a critical era of hip-hop and whose personal journey became a powerful testament to criminal justice reform, was a figure of profound resilience. Born on January 30, 1975, in Brooklyn, New York, he rose from the classically influenced world of violin to the vanguard of the 1990s hip-hop scene. Forte's life was characterized by a rare intersection of elite academic training, sudden global superstardom, a period of severe legal adversity, and an eventual return as an advocate for second chances. John Forte passed away on January 12, 2026, at the age of 50 at his home in Chilmark, Massachusetts. Forte's early years were shaped by his talent as a violinist, which earned him a place at the prestigious Phillips Exeter Academy. This background in classical theory gave his later work a unique multi-instrumental depth. His professional breakthrough came in the mid-1990s after he was introduced to Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean. He became an integral member of the Refugee Camp All-Stars and a key contributor to the Fugees' landmark 1996 album, The Score. His work on the album, including co-writing and production credits on several tracks, helped earn it a Grammy nomination for Album of the Year and solidified his reputation as a brilliant technical craftsman. He followed this success with his 1998 solo debut, Poli-Sci, which blended hip-hop with eclectic musical influences. In 2000, Forte's career faced a dramatic interruption when he was arrested on drug trafficking charges. He was subsequently sentenced to 14 years in federal prison under mandatory minimum guidelines. During his incarceration, he continued to cultivate his artistry and became a focal point for advocates of sentencing reform. His plight drew support from a wide array of figures, including legendary singer-songwriter Carly Simon. In 2008, after Forte had served 7 years, President George W. Bush commuted his sentence, allowing him to return to society and his career. Following his release, Forte dedicated himself to a life of creative renewal and advocacy. He relocated to Martha's Vineyard, where he established a studio and produced a steady stream of introspective, acoustic-driven music that reflected his transformation. Albums such as Water, Light, Sound, and Rhythm Drive showcased a more mature, reflective voice. He became a sought-after public speaker, focusing on accountability and the power of redemption, and founded Le Castle, a company designed to manage multidisciplinary creative projects. His work extended into scoring for film and television, including projects for HBO. In his final years, Forte was a beloved figure in the Martha's Vineyard arts community, where he lived with his wife, photographer Laura Fuller, and their 2 children. He faced private health challenges, including a seizure condition following a hospitalization in 2025, but remained active in his studio until the end. His death in January 2026 was met with widespread tributes from the music world, honoring him as a man who navigated both the heights of fame and the depths of the justice system with his integrity intact. John Forte's legacy remains one of brilliance and hope, serving as a reminder that the most powerful compositions are often those written in the second act.
Brad Arnold, the American singer, songwriter, and musician, best known as the lead vocalist and founding member of Three Doors Down, was a defining figure in the post-grunge and alternative rock landscape of the early 2000s. Born Bradley Kirk Arnold on September 27, 1978 in Escatawpa, Mississippi, he possessed a powerful melodic baritone that became the sonic anchor for one of the most commercially successful rock bands of its era. Arnold's career was marked by his dual role as a drummer and vocalist, his earnest songwriting, and a public journey toward personal wellness that inspired fans worldwide. Brad Arnold passed away on February 15, 2026, at the age of 47, following a sudden medical emergency at his home in Nashville. Arnold's musical origins were rooted in his local church and family basement, where he began playing drums as a young child. In 1996, he formed Three Doors Down with friends Todd Harrell and Matt Roberts. Uniquely for a rock frontman, Arnold performed as the band's drummer and lead singer simultaneously during their early years. It was during a high school algebra class that he penned the lyrics to Kryptonite, the song that would eventually launch the band to international superstardom. When the track was released in 2000, it spent months at the top of the rock charts, propelling their debut album, The Better Life, to go certified 6 times platinum. Throughout the 2000s, Arnold led the band through a string of massive hits, including When I'm Gone, Here Without You, and It's Not My Time.
His songwriting often focused on themes of loyalty, longing, and the resilience of the human spirit, which resonated deeply with a broad audience, particularly within the veteran and first responder communities. Under his leadership, Three Doors Down sold over 20 million albums globally and became a staple of rock radio. Arnold eventually transitioned from the drum kit to the front of the stage to focus on his vocal performance, though his rhythmic sensibility remained a core component of the band's driving sound. In the later stages of his life, Arnold became an outspoken advocate for sobriety and mental health. After checking into rehabilitation in 2016, he celebrated nearly a decade of continuous sobriety, often sharing his day-at-a-time philosophy with fans during live performances. This transparency transformed his public image from a rock star into a source of hope for those struggling with similar challenges. He also founded the Better Life Foundation, a charitable organization dedicated to providing food, shelter, and medical assistance to children in need, particularly in the Gulf Coast region. In 2025, Arnold celebrated the 25th anniversary of the Better Life with a massive North American tour, proving that his vocal power and stage presence remained undiminished. He had recently begun work on a solo acoustic project and a memoir detailing his experiences in the music industry. He passed away peacefully on February 15, 2026, surrounded by his wife Jennifer and their family. The legacy of Brad Arnold is one of authenticity and perseverance. He remained a grounded, approachable figure despite the heights of his fame, never forgetting his Mississippi roots. He is remembered not only for the anthems that defined the turn of the millennium, but for his courage in using his platform to promote healing and service. Brad Arnold's voice remains a permanent fixture in the history of American rock, a testament to the idea that a better life is always within reach. Mariah Carey, the American singer, songwriter, record producer, and actress, stands as one of the most commercially successful and influential vocalists in the history of modern music. Born on March 27, 1969, in Huntington, New York, she rose from a challenging childhood to become a global phenomenon, defined by her 5-octave vocal range, mastery of the whistle register, and a prolific songwriting ability that has produced more #1 singles than any other solo artist in history. As of April 2026, Carey remains a vibrant force in the industry, recently celebrated as the MusiCares Person of the Year and continuing to expand her legendary catalog with new studio projects and high-profile residencies. Carey's early life was marked by her biracial identity and the financial struggles that followed her parents' divorce when she was 3 years old. Her mother, Patricia Hickey, an opera singer and vocal coach, recognized Mariah's extraordinary gift early on, providing her with the foundational training that would later allow her to navigate complex operatic and pop styles with ease. After graduating from high school in 1987, Carey moved to Manhattan, working several service jobs while recording demo tapes. Her breakthrough occurred at a music industry party in 1988, where she handed a demo tape to Tommy Mottola, then head of Columbia Records. Mottola listened to the tape on his way home, was immediately captivated by her voice, and signed her to the label, launching one of the most successful partnerships in music history. Her self-titled debut album, released in 1990, was an immediate triumph, producing 4 consecutive #1 singles: Vision of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, and I Don't Want to Cry. This unprecedented start earned her Grammy Awards for Best New Artist and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Throughout the early 1990s, she solidified her status as the world's premier pop diva with albums like Emotions, Music Box, and Daydream. It was during this era that she released All I Want for Christmas Is You, 1994, a track that transitioned from a holiday hit into a global cultural institution, eventually earning her the title Queen of Christmas and topping the charts annually decades after its release. The mid to late 1990s saw Carey assert greater creative control, moving away from the adult contemporary balladry of her early career toward a more hip-hop and R&B influenced sound. Her 1997 album, Butterfly, is often cited as her most personal and artistically significant work, marking her professional and personal independence following her divorce from Mottola. This transition proved highly successful, leading to a string of hits like Honey and Heartbreaker that featured collaborations with major hip-hop producers and artists, a move that bridged the gap between pop and urban music and set a blueprint for future generations of pop stars. The early 2000s brought a period of intense professional and personal scrutiny, particularly following the commercial underperformance of the film and soundtrack Glitter 2001. However, Carey staged one of the greatest comebacks in music history with the 2005 release of The Emancipation of Mimi. The album's lead single, We Belong Together, spent 14 weeks at #1 and was later named the Song of the Decade by Billboard. This resurgence reaffirmed her technical mastery and her ability to resonate with contemporary audiences, further cementing her legacy as a resilient and enduring artist. In the 2020s, Carey's influence has only expanded as she embraced her role as a legacy artist while remaining active in the studio. In September 2025, she released her 16th studio album, Here for It All, which was met with critical acclaim for its soulful production and vocal depth. By early 2026, she had begun teasing the official release of Someone's Ugly Daughter, a lost alternative grunge album she recorded secretly in 1995, a project that has long been a point of fascination for her devoted fan base, known as the Lambley. Her recent honors, including her induction into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and being named the 2026 MusiCares Person of the Year, highlight not only her musical achievements, but also her extensive philanthropic work through Camp Mariah and various disaster relief initiatives. Carey's personal life, particularly her role as a mother to twins Moroccan and Monroe, has become a central part of her public identity. She frequently shares glimpses of her family life, maintaining a sense of humor and diva persona that her fans adore. In March 2026, she celebrated her 57th birthday with a series of high-profile appearances, including a surprise visit to a historic Easter service in Atlanta, demonstrating her continued connection to her roots in gospel and soul music. The legacy of Mariah Carey is defined by her role as the Songbird Supreme, a title bestowed upon her by Guinness Book of World Records. With 19 Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles, she trails only the Beatles for the most top spots in history. Beyond the statistics, her influence is heard in the melismatic singing styles of nearly every major pop and R&B vocalist who followed her. She remains a master of her craft, a savvy businesswoman, and a cultural icon, whose voice has provided the soundtrack for over 30 decades of popular culture. As she enters the next phase of her career in 2026, Mariah Carey continues to prove that her talent is as timeless as the melodies she creates.